Okay, so today we want to look at how to do enemies, okay? And to illustrate this example, I have got up here Super Mario Bros. So what we want to do is we want to have an enemy that can move back and forwards just like this here, okay? Now, in here, we have a enemy, okay? It is created using the enemy class that I've added into the example, which you can see on datemap, okay? The example code is here, okay? And what I'd like you to do is get the enemy to move just like this enemy is moving in Mario, okay? Now, we need to identify what code is actually drawing the enemy. We need to think about how to make it move every frame and how to restrict movement, okay? So when we want to move something, if we look at the player movement class, right, when we're pressing the left direction, okay, it is taking whatever the speed of the player is from X, okay, the position, right? So whenever I press the left key, I take from the left, I take from the X, all right? Whenever I want to move to the right, I add to the right, okay? So what we're going to need to do is look at our enemy class. We have a speed, we have an X, cool, we can do that. So let's just collapse this just so it's a bit easier. We can see here, we're pushing on an enemy to the array. It's got a speed of 1 originally. Cool, that's good. So if we go down here, this here, enemy array, right, in this for loop, because we might have multiple enemies, we want to do an array and loop through it so that we can get every enemy. We're going to draw the enemy. Okay, so we know that the drawing is happening here for the enemy. So now we need to go look at the class that creates the enemy because there's no functions to see that are called enemy draw. So the enemy class, the draw function. So this method, this function here, sets the fill to be whatever color we specified for this.color, which was what we specified in the constructor, which here is red, okay? And then it draws a rectangle at this.x, this.y, with a width and the height as we specified. So if we want to move this rectangle to the left or to the right, we need to use this.x, okay, in the enemy class. So given that, what we're going to do is we're going to say this.x minus equals this.speed, okay? Let's just see if that does what we expect. Okay, great. It's moving to the left. That's what we want, but it just keeps going. So we want it to just ping pong between two positions that we set, okay? So when we set it originally, it's at 300. So maybe we want it to move to the left 100, to the right 100 pixels, and then that's it. We just want it to ping pong between those. So what we can actually do is the speed, right? We set it as +1. So we're taking +1. I wonder what happens if I times speed by -1 here. It goes the other direction, but we still have the same issue that it's just going to keep going. So we need a way to figure out how to times it by -1 when it gets to a specific position. So what we can do for that is we can make a decision. To make a decision, we use an if statement. So we're going to check if this.x is equal to, and in JavaScript, we need to use 3 equal signs because we need to check for equality of value and equality of type. If that doesn't mean anything to you, do not worry. So this.x is equal to 200. All right. So that's the left side. Let's make sure. Oh, we actually don't want to include that in there. What we want to do is do this.speed is equal to this.speed multiplied by -1. Okay. Let's see what that does. So that was 200. Cool. But now we have the other problem. We're still going this way. So what we need to do is do another check. And that's what this and is about. These two ampersands, the and symbol, shift 7. It means check that this is true and the other. Oh, and this is where we're going to run into a problem. Mr. Walker actually wants to use the or operator, which is this is true or whatever we put after. In this case, we said 100 each side. The starting position was 300, so 100 above is going to be 400, okay? So this.x is going to be equal to 400. These two symbols you get by doing shift and the backslash key. It's the one above enter on your keyboard. Okay, so do 2 of those. And if we check now, we see that when it gets to the lower side, it bounces. And when it gets to the upside, it bounces also. And that's because we're just timesing speed by -1, which means we're going to either be taking 1 or taking -1, which is the same as adding 1 to the x. Okay, so let's check. Have we done it? We've identified what's drawing the enemy. Yes. We've thought about how to make it move every time we draw a frame. Yes, lovely. Now we want to restrict that movement to a certain area. Lovely. So now, if you've done this and you've still got time left in the lesson, I'd like you to go and figure out, you need to add more parameters to the constructor, whether you can tell during the construction of a new entity what the parameters are. Because if I create a new enemy, right, it's always going to just be bouncing in this area because I've hard-coded those values. So I'm going to leave that as an exercise for those who finish the whole thing.